it's good because it's a palate cleanser for everybody else in the market. This makes trades a little bit easier to go through, and we're going to start to see some more stuff shake out from this. I think it's just kind of a given. I know a lot of teams were monitoring the Raptors, but now the Nets are going to definitely be in the spotlight too. And you've already got Chris B. Haynes saying that the Suns are going to be monitoring the Kevin Durant situation to see if he becomes available. So teams are going to start lurking, and if they do end up moving KD, and they shouldn't be in a rush to do it, but if he does demand he wants out, it's going to make the rest of the season really uncomfortable for Brooklyn. So
but that's Brooklyn's problem.
Yeah, but I mean, it does affect the trade market, right? Because I think if there's, if you wanted to try and go in and scoop a bench scorer like, TJ Warren, or if a team wants to go after a guy like Seth Curry, like that gets a little bit more sticky if they're not able to blow it up, or, they try and convince, hey, KD, we're going to retool a little bit here and see what we can add in order to try and make this team a little bit more competitive. It adds more layers and wrinkles to this trade deadline as they go towards it, because it's gonna bring out about rumors, and I think that's a fair thing to worry about from a Celtics perspective. Like, I don't think that they're going to get involved, but that their name's going to come up because of the history between the organizations. The previous rumors that were going on in the summer. Concerns about Jaylen Brown and all of that stuff. Like, it's just going to rear its head. So, like, if the Celtics are going to have legitimate interest, they're going to have to do it, in my opinion. Like, if you're going to show any interest at all, like, it has to be all in, because
that's the question. If you personally, would you trade? Let's say the Nets were like, right, we want Jaylen Brown, a future first, and I don't know, like a salary filler, Gallo and
JB make the money work.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, for that type of package, right? Nothing past that. It's just JB, a filler, and a future first for KD. Would you do that deal?
I feel like I'd have to. Like, for a multitude of reasons, right? Like, just in terms of just player comparison, Kevin Durant's better than Jaylen Brown. And unless Jaylen Brown takes some insane leap in his game, that's always going to be the case. Now, you have to worry about injuries with Kevin Durant. I totally understand that being a fair concern, but he's not going to be a flight risk. He's under contract. You're getting to pair him with Jason Tatum. Like, those guys are going to be trading fours in the playoffs. Like, that's what that would be like. And that would make for some really beautiful basketball. I don't think I could ever imagine a better running mate for Jason Tatum. But again, there's the optics of it. Does that destroy the chemistry? Does that destroy the locker room? How are things going now? Does this throw a whole wrench into it? How does this kind of shape the rest of the season for the Celtics? And that's where I think things would get interesting, because you don't want to. You've got a good thing. Like, it's not broke. There have been issues, and we're going to get into that with their offense and their defense. Kind of like the sliders going in opposite directions, but you do have to worry about the long-term ramifications of showing any kind of interest in making that volume of a deal. Like, that's a pretty big move to be making in the middle of a season where you're the first seed in the East. At least as of right now.
It's not like KD's just a better offensive player, right? He's a better defender as well.
Yeah.
Right? KD's it's a different level. Now, the worry is KD's nowhere near as healthy as what Jaylen Brown is on a consistent basis. He's older, but he's also under contract longer. If I was Boston and that opportunity came and that was the type of deal they were looking at, even if it was a couple of firsts, a couple of picks, I don't care, but make it happen. You start adding like Rob or Grant into that package, and now it's getting a little bit too expensive for me.
Yeah.
And I was just wondering, because it's going to be bought up, especially if KD is like, well, there's no chance I'm winning here now.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean? Like, I want out. And then Boston, if I was Boston, I'd be seriously considering that. I know Jaylen Brown's having a really good year, but is this as high as his value is ever going to be? That's a question you need to ask. If JB is at his current peak in terms of trade value, and he's in his prime at this point, this is who he is as a player, there's going to be improvements, but they're not going to be drastic at this point now. If this is the prime and like that's it, his trade value is this high, and you can get a return of Kevin Durant and a 2-year, maybe 3-year title window, you have to do that. I know they've got a title window right now, but KD just kind of opens it wider for those few years. And obviously, we don't know if that's going to happen, but I just wanted to ask the question because I felt like we were beating around the bush.
Yeah, I mean, that's the problem, right? And like, it always is going to water down to that. If you talk about Kevin Durant or trading for any kind of superstar, you're like, all right, well, I'm not moving Jason Tatum. And I feel like you can't move Marcus Smart because he's so important to this team's defense. He's been a massive impact on their offense and how they flow, one of their better playmakers. But then you look at the situation where it's like they're going to ask for the best piece available. And if it's not Jason Tatum, it's going to be Jaylen Brown. And like that's where it's always going to get sticky in any kind of trade talk. It's just not, it's unrealistic to expect them to, it's damn near impossible for them to make that kind of level of a trade without including him. And that's,
and I'm okay
like,
with that. Look,
reality.
I understand. Like Jaylen Brown is a really, really, really good player.
Mhm.
He's not a top 10 guy. Kevin Durant is. It's that simple.